In effect. In effect. Yo, go ahead. One thing. One thing I hate is when a girl plays fake and tries to make me late for another day. Yo, go ahead. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing tonight? Y'all good? Nice. That's good news right there. What's going on, man? Everything good tonight? Yeah, I'm running good. What up, King? How you doing, brother? What's going on? Letting everybody file in here and I had a little bit of an issue with the whole KD Kyrie thing. I had a bit of an issue with, the teams, the better teams of all time. I just had a real interesting take on it because I applaud Sean Marks for not trading KD. I applaud him for that. And the reason why I applaud him for that is because it would just look really bad on management if you just did everything that they said and kept doing it. I mean, I'm all for player empowerment. I'm all for that. That's not something that I'm thinking about and going, nah, man, you can't give these players all this power. No, absolutely not. I'm all for player empowerment. But when I think about how far we want to go with this thing and where is the line, there has to be one drawn. So, what's the benefit in trading KD? Odds are you're not going to get back what you asked for. Even though I'm digging the Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones 3-1 deal from New Orleans and building it around Brandon Ingram and Ben Simmons, I'm digging that. As a GM, it just looks bad. And the reason why it looks bad is because to get James Harden, you had to give up a lot to get him. And then you end up losing him. And in the process of losing him, you lose Ben for the rest of the season. He doesn't play, which I understand why he didn't play. And the reason why he didn't play is because he was trying to get paid. And if he stepped on that court, he wouldn't have saw $1 of that money that Philadelphia owed him. Not $1 of it. Nope. He wouldn't have saw $1 of it. So it was in his best interest not to play. A lot of us looked at him like he was soft and, he wasn't for the team. No, it was a business decision. And I understand it wholeheartedly. So when you trade James Harden away, and we all know that trade was that was more long-term than short-term. It was short-term for Philadelphia and it was long-term for the Brooklyn Nets. But when you traded for James Harden, you ended up losing a lot of pieces that you no longer have. All right. You lost Karis LeVert in that trade. You lost Jared Allen in that trade, right? So then you trade James Harden away, and then now you get Ben Simmons, who doesn't play. And again, we already know why he didn't play. Like I said, it was a business decision, sure. So now what we're going to do is there's something that's clearly wrong here. And the one thing that's wrong here is the common denominator. And that common denominator is Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Those two guys are the common denominator. Because if you're shuffling guys in and out of the lineup, even if you're bringing in new guys, or if you're losing guys, even if you're losing guys, we still should be more competitive with these two guys. But we haven't been. And the reason we haven't been is because, one, those guys have broken down. I think that's the most important part about it. Those guys have broken down. And because they've broken down, that's hampered the unit. Because the entire offense is built around those two guys. And if they're not playing, then that means that we got to go somewhere else. One, for buckets. Two, for primary ball handler. And three, for leadership. And when you have a leader like Kyrie Irving, who is that unstable, that means my unit is unstable. And because my unit is unstable, we're not going far. That's just the way that goes. So, with that being said, when I think about the Brooklyn Nets not trading Kevin Durant, the logic is, if we trade him, Sean Marks is going to ultimately get fired. And the reason why he's going to ultimately get fired is because this thing has been a disaster. So this season, we do have to see, right? We do have to see what this Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons trio looks like. I have nothing invested in this because I think that I'm going to see the same thing that I saw in the past. And the reason why I feel like I'm going to see the same thing that I saw in the past is because of the one common denominator. That's KD and Kyrie Irving. I'm getting nothing new from those guys. What I mean when I say that is Michael Jordan got Scottie Pippen in year 4. And it took them 4 years for Pip to develop into that dude. And into that dude he developed, they ended up winning it. Shaq got Kobe Bryant in year 6. In year 4, he got Kobe Bryant in 1996. And it took 4 years for him to develop into that guy so they can win it. Hence the term develop, which would explain why they were so good for so long, because they were turning into these guys. I've already seen the best version of Kyrie Irving. I've already seen the best version of Kevin Durant. I'm not getting any more from these two as a duo. Kevin Durant is going into year 16. In the last 3 seasons that he's been in Brooklyn, he's broken down every year. Every year he's broken down. He didn't play the 2020 season, the 1920 season because of the Achilles tear. He didn't play he missed half the 2021 season because of a hamstring injury. And then last year, he had a sprained MCL and he missed a month and a half. Now you can tell me that, well, the MCL injury wasn't his fault. Well, maybe it wasn't, but I can tell you that it takes a lot more time to heal up when I'm in year 15 as it does when I'm in year 4. I bounce back a lot quicker in year 4 than I do in year 15. So these are the 3 years that I've gotten out of Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving plays 20 games in the 1920 season. The 2021 season, he breaks down in the playoffs. Last season, he doesn't play. He's in and out of the lineup because of COVID. And then he completely underperforms in the playoffs. Completely underperforms in the playoffs. Now, what evidence can you guys bring me to suggest that there's going to be anything different this season? Because we took James Harden out. And in the process of taking James Harden out, we're going to put Ben Simmons in. And I think that Ben Simmons is still viable. I personally think he's a franchise player. That's why I was ready to move off of KD, bring in Grant, bring in Ingram, and not only bring in Ingram, but bring in Ingram and Herb Jones, and let's start this thing over. So with these three guys, because James Harden was healthy when they got him. But him being out of shape was a him problem. That wasn't a situation where James Harden had something that was unforeseen. We all remember James Harden in Houston before he got traded to Brooklyn. I honestly thought it was a fat suit that he had on. That was me. I thought he had a fat suit on, and I still stand on that logic to this day. It looked like he had a fat suit on. So the way he comes into camp, completely out of shape, at least 20 pounds overweight, add that to the fact that he now gets to Brooklyn and he forces his way out of Houston, comes into camp out of shape and forces his way out of Houston. And now I'm getting told that, well, he was injured, OG, not because he rolled his ankle or because somebody clotheslined him or something like that, because he allowed himself, which he has a pattern of doing this, he allowed himself to get out of shape. He allowed himself to get out of shape, and then he forced his way out of Brooklyn. So what does that tell me? What's the problem in Brooklyn? Why didn't he want to stay there? Was he just not feeling what was going on there? Was it the one common denominator that I keep bringing up? Which is, again, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. That's the one common denominator. So ultimately, I'm looking at this group and I'm thinking to myself, what is going to be different this year that we didn't see last year? Now, I know that we're going to get a healthy Ben Simmons. But the common denominator, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, what's going to be different this season? How is Ben Simmons going to make the difference between these two guys? What is Ben Simmons going to do to keep Kyrie Irving from breaking down? What is Ben Simmons going to do to keep Kevin Durant from breaking down? What is Ben Simmons going to do to keep Kyrie Irving from underperforming? And what is Ben Simmons going to do not only for those guys, what is he going to do for himself? Because I know he's an all-league performer. I already know that. Absolutely. Yeah. I already know that he's an all-league performer. However, and I know he's an all-league defender, we are coming off of a season where he didn't play and his psyche was damaged. And remember now, Milwaukee got their guy back. They were the favorites in the East last year. I think they're the favorites in the East this year. They got their guy back. Is Brooklyn better this year than they were when Milwaukee beat them? Does Milwaukee beat them if Kyrie Irving is healthy? That's the interesting question. Does Milwaukee beat them if Kyrie Irving stays healthy? But that's the other thing that I can't bank on that. I can't bank on the knowledge. I can't bank on the logic that Kyrie Irving's going to hold up, because he hasn't shown me over the last 3 years that he can hold up. He hasn't shown me that. So what do I have to go off of to suggest that this is going to be different? I'm not talking about with Ben Simmons, because I think Ben Simmons has a lot to prove, and I think that he's up for the challenge. I do. The one common denominator here is Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. That's the issue that I'm having. What is the evidence? What is the logic to suggest that it's going to be different this year with these guys than it was in the past? I don't have any, because I'm only going off what I've seen. That's why I have a difficult time with, OG, you bias with these guys, or you bias with these guys. Well, bias means to be prejudiced. I'm not prejudging anything. I'm going off what I saw. That's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I'm just going off of what I've seen. And what I've seen is two guys, one of them who's on the other side of his greatness, who's starting to break down. That's what it looks like. And another guy who's problematic. And in the process of being problematic, he's also inconsistent, both as a performer and as a leader. That's what I'm looking at my two leaders. So what evidence do I have to suggest that this thing is going to be any different? I don't know. So with that being said, I had a conversation about great teams, right? I did have a conversation about that. But before I get into that, when I think about the common denominator with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I can't say I'm having a difficult time with Steve Nash, because we got to remember who exactly he is and who he played for. Remember, as good as Steve Nash is as a player, as smart as he was as a point guard, his ability to X and O is questionable. And the reason why it's questionable is because of the offense that he came from. Like when he got the job with Brooklyn, who did he hire as his offensive coordinator? He hired Mike D'Antoni. And Mike D'Antoni's game, or Mike D'Antoni's philosophy, is fast. Now, what happens is you get into the playoffs, or not even the playoffs. You'll get into games where you're going to play against really good defensive teams. And what those good defensive teams are going to do, they're going to slow the game down. And when they slow the game down, what's going to happen is you got to get into other stuff. You got to get into action that works. Because when this great defense has you shooting the basketball in 7 seconds or less and you're only getting one shot, and they're doing a good job defensively on you, and then now they're slowing the game down, and now you have to get into sets, you don't have a counter for that, which would explain why Brooklyn did what they did. It would explain why Brooklyn looked the way they looked in the playoffs. I don't think that Steve Nash was ready offensively in terms of X and O's. He wasn't able to draw up anything that looked remotely successful. It was just get the basketball and go. And that works in December against Portland, against Washington. That doesn't work in April against Boston or Toronto, because you're going to run into teams that are really good defensively, and they're going to slow the game down, and you as a coach are going to get exposed. And I think a lot of that happened to Steve Nash. And I'd be really surprised if he finished out this season, because I don't know if they have the right guy. I think that they know that early. I think that they're going into the season knowing that. And I think that they got Mark Jackson on line one. I'm 100% confident in that they got Mark Jackson on line one. But I don't think he comes in the middle of the season. I do think that Mark Jackson wants to coach again, but I don't think he comes in the middle of the season. No. Absolutely not. I look at this Brooklyn team, and going into camp with this looming over them, there's going to be so many questions about this. We're not going to talk about how they got better, because, how did they get better? All right, Joe Harris is coming back. They bagged Royce O'Neal in a trade. Seth Curry's going to be back. Now, they lost Andre Drummond. So we're going with Claxton in the middle, because I know you're not going with Blake Griffin again. And I know you're not going with LaMarcus Aldridge. I know you're not going to do that. So they got, if I'm not mistaken, they bagged Royce O'Neal in the trade. They're going to get Joe Harris back. I'm a big TJ Warren fan. When he was healthy, I saw him in the bubble. He was really good. I like him. But I don't know if I'm loving him with this offense because I don't want to hamper Cam Johnson. I think Cam Thomas, I'm sorry. Not Cam Johnson. I don't want to hamper Cam Thomas. I think Cam Thomas is going to be one of the better scorers in the game. I think he is instant O off the bench. I'm almost willing to go as far as I think that he may even be a starter. I'm almost willing to go that far. So, with that being said, with the additions that they've made, TJ Warren, Royce O'Neal, getting Joe Harris back, Patty Mills, Seth Curry, bringing in Ben Simmons, KD, and Kyrie Irving. Is this team better than Milwaukee as constructed right now? I don't think so. Is this team as constructed right now better than Boston? I don't think so. Is this team constructed as of right now? Are they better than Miami? I don't think so. Is this team, as it's constructed right now, better than Milwaukee? Better than Philadelphia? Better than Miami? Better than Boston? I don't think so. I'm not buying it. Are they better than Chicago? Are they better than Cleveland? I think Cleveland comes back a lot better than what you guys think. I think the Cleveland Cavs could be a top 5 seed this year. I do believe that. So I'm really interested to see what the logic is on the Brooklyn Nets going into camp. I'm really interested to see that. No doubt. Hey, Dre, what I need you to do for a second, Dre, is take your fan hat off. And what gives now? So you're telling me, Dre, that they're the best in the East on paper. Because, Dre, you said that to me last year when Kyrie Irving and KD got together with James Harden. You told me that they were the best. You told me that last season. Did you not tell me that last season? Yes or no? I want to make sure that I'm not going crazy. Did you not tell me that last season? And I'm having a difficult time with that logic, Dontavius. And the reason why I'm having a difficult time with that logic is because, yes, you did, Dre. You absolutely told me that. When y'all got James Harden, you were on fire. You were so excited about that. That's number one. And Dontavius, I'm having a problem with that because I got Kevin Durant in year 15. I got Kyrie Irving, who's going into year 12. How are you telling me that this group doesn't have a leader? Kevin Durant is arguably a top 5 player in the game. I hear you guys all the time tell me that Kyrie Irving is a top 10 point guard all time, but we don't have a leader? Man. Man. You wasn't saying that when he was in Oklahoma City. Well, so again, I'm looking at this unit, and I think the Brooklyn Nets have more questions than any other seeds. I think they got more questions than Milwaukee. I think they got more questions than Boston. I think they got more questions than Philadelphia. And I got a lot of questions about Philadelphia. A lot. I'm still not on board with James Harden. I'm still not. But I think they got more questions with Philadelphia. I think they got more questions than Miami. I think they got a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I'm not sold on the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not. Not sold on them at all. So The question that I have moving forward for you guys is, what happens with this Brooklyn group? What's the goal with this Brooklyn group this year? Is this season, because again, Irv comes off the books after this year. Irv comes off the books after this year. They still got 3 more years. They still got 3 more years of Ben Simmons and 4 more years of KD. So what happens with this group if they don't win it? Do we blow this thing up? Does this thing come back? And do we just move on with, do we make one minor change? How does this work? That's legit logic, Dontavius. And the reason I'm a big Jason Tatum fan anyway. Jason Tatum is my favorite player under 25, as you know. So with that being said, I think that they are the team that gives Milwaukee the best challenge. I think Milwaukee serves Miami. I think that they serve them. No doubt about that. Even though we talk a lot about Miami, how great a defensive team they are, I think Milwaukee serves them. I do. I think Milwaukee serves Philadelphia. And I think that they serve Brooklyn. All 3 of them teams, I think they serve them. So, because of that, Milwaukee is my favorite in the East. Now, moving forward, who do I like the most to win the NBA championship? I like Milwaukee. They got the best player in the game. I think they got the best perimeter defender in the game in Jrue Holiday. I think they have one of the better perimeter players in the game in Middleton. And I think that they'll be better this season. I think the primary reason why they didn't do what they did last year was simply because Middleton got hurt. That was it. Middleton got hurt. Now, Middleton coming back, this isn't a situation like Klay Thompson where Middleton has a history of injury. You know, Klay Thompson missed 2 seasons, entire seasons, due to injury, right? KD missed half a season due to injury. Then he missed a whole season due to injury. Then he missed another month due to injury, a month and a half due to injury. Kyrie Irving has missed a significant amount of time throughout his career due to injury. There is no injury history with Chris Middleton. There is no injury history with Giannis. So with that being said, there's no reason for me to think that they won't be at the top. They won't be back at the top of the Eastern Conference next season. None. There's no reason for me not to think that. I absolutely believe he is, Eli. Yes, I do. Well, answer this question for me, Eli, and you can give me, because you're a Kawhi guy. I'm a big Kawhi fan too. But give me an instance, or give me a signature Kawhi shut the door on a guy. Can you give me one? Because I thought he did a great job against Giannis in 19. I do. I thought he did a great job against Giannis in 19. A great job. But other than that, can you give me a signature Kawhi Leonard moment defensively? He actually didn't shut. James averaged 28 a game in those finals. He did not shut him down. James went 28, 9, and 8 in that series. He did not shut James down in those finals. No, he did not, sir. If a guy going 28, 9, and 8 is shutting him down, man, I can't imagine what happens if he's doing something else. Now, when I think about Jrue Holiday shut the door on Damian Lillard. Now, a lot of people will tell me that Damian Lillard was getting blitzed. Damian Lillard was getting double teamed. With all of that being said, The one common denominator was Drew Holiday. Not only did he handle Damian Lillard, he outplayed him too. Now, fast forward to the 21 NBA Finals. Completely slowed down Chris Paul. Slowed him right down. These are signature moments and big moments when I think about Drew Holiday. Handled him. Completely handled Chris Paul. Picking up 90 feet, picking up 94 feet, and slowing down their transition game. That was huge for them. These are signature moments. When I think about Drew Holiday, how he bodies guys, how he keeps his hands busy, how crafty he is, how he makes it hard on an offensive player. Pardon me. How he makes it hard on an offensive player. When I look at his game defensively on the perimeter, I think he's the best perimeter defensive player in the game. That includes Marcus Smart. That includes Kawhi Leonard. I think Drew Holiday is the best in the game. See, Dontavius, and if that's shutting the guy down, right? If that's shutting the guy down, he's going 28, 8, and 4 on 50%, 57% from the floor and 52 from the three. I mean, if that's shutting the guy down, man, I can't imagine what it looked like if he had it going. Can you imagine what he looked like if he had it going? Man, Leonard wouldn't have had a chance. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, brother? Facts. Drew Holiday. The only reason, King, your logic with Tony Allen, your only logic with Tony Allen, and this kind of irritates me a little bit because your only logic with Tony Allen is it's Kobe Bryant signed off on him. You don't have any other logic on Tony Allen except the fact that Kobe Bryant signed off on him. None. Is Tony Allen a first-team All-League defender? Yeah, he is. Absolutely he is. Yes, he is. But when I think about Tony Allen as a perimeter defender, and I think about Drew Holiday as a perimeter defender, I think that Drew Holiday is better. I think he's better simply because of how smart he is, how crafty he is, how tough he makes it on guys. Now, like Kobe Bryant said, Tony Allen ain't asking for help. It's me and him. I don't need double teams. I don't need help. It's me and him. If he gonna torch me, he gonna torch me, just me and him. And I absolutely respect that. But as a defender, footwork, hands, knowing when to close out, knowing when to back off, knowing when to crowd a guy, knowing how to bump a guy to stay out of foul trouble, knowing how to play defense without fouling. I think a lot of that stuff, I think a lot of that stuff matters. And I think Drew is better at that than Tony Allen. Spool, what up, brother? How you doing? If Drew is as good as you're saying, he shouldn't get cooked by Luka every time. Well, if that's the case, then Kawhi Leonard shouldn't get cooked by him neither. If I'm not mistaken, did Luka not average, 36 in that Clippers series? Luka went for 36 in that Clippers series against Leonard and Paul George. So I'm not sure if I understand that logic, sir. I don't know if I do. That's fair, Eli. Absolutely, that's fair. Yes, he should, Fred. I will not deter from the thing about Marcus Smart is Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday, Avery Bradley, guys like that. Like if I was coming out of school today, or if I was coming out of school 3-4 years ago, those are the guys that I would be measuring myself against. Marcus Smart. If I'm coming out of college, I'm coming out of my junior year of college. I play at a mid-major D1 school. That's who I'm looking at. I'm thinking that's my job right there. Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday, Avery Bradley. Those guys are the guys that I'm looking at going, if I can survive those guys, I'm going to play 10 years. I'm going to play 12 years. If I can survive those guys, I'm not thinking about the Kyrie Irvings I'm not thinking about Kyrie Irving, Luka, James Harden. I'm not thinking about because everybody wants to do that. Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday, Avery Bradley. Guys don't want to do that. And I'm looking at those guys thinking, if I can be that, I'll play 12 years easily. I'll easily play 12 years. What's up, JB? How you doing, brother? 31-9-8, 36-7 and 10 against Kawhi. That's what I'm saying, man. 36-7, and to say that about Luka. I mean, who is Luka not torching? Luka torches everybody. Luka is what we call a duck. Luka is what we call a tough cover. Luka is what we call a tough cover. So, Chris, I'm glad you brought up RJ Barrett. And the reason why I'm glad you brought up RJ Barrett, because I said this to you a couple of months ago on draft night, where I said that I felt like on draft night, RJ Barrett was the only guy that was off the table. Everybody else, I'm interested in conversation. We could talk about everybody else. Now, when I think about the guards in the Eastern Conference, so can RJ Barrett leapfrog somebody and make the All-Star team this year? Well, that's only going to happen if the Knicks are better. So if I think about the guards in the East, DeRozan, Irv, Trae Young, Jaylen Brown, Van Fleet, James Harden, think about the other guard, Bradley Beal. Who does RJ Barrett leapfrog? Who does RJ Barrett leapfrog in order to get to the All-Star game? I think 7. I'm missing somebody too. LaMelo Ball, Garland also. So who does RJ Barrett leapfrog? Who goes the other way? Is it Van Fleet? I don't think it's DeRozan. I don't believe that. And the Eastern Conference is tough. And the Knicks, I think, may very well be on the outside or on the outside looking in. I do believe that. So it's going to be tough for him. I think that we're going to have a different conversation. He's going to be in the conversation of being an all-star. I don't know if he's going to be able to crack that all-star lineup, considering how many good players, how many good guards there are in the East. I think that's going to be tough. King, to answer your question, I still stand on James being a better defender overall. I think that James's ability in transition, I think that James's ability in the half court, his ability to defensive rebound, his ability to rim protect, I give the edge to James. That logic I can get with Dontavius. All-star caliber play. That means that he's going to be in the conversation. I can absolutely get with that. Definitely. So, again, this is really good, though. And the reason why I think this is good is simply because the East is going to be so tough, man. You're going to see some good teams that are on the outside looking in. I think the Knicks are going to be on the outside looking in. I think Atlanta is a play-in team. I don't think they are a playoff team. I don't think Washington is a playoff team. I don't think the Knicks are a playoff team. I think Atlanta's on the outside looking in. I think they're a play-in team. I think Cleveland is better. I don't believe that one, Fred. I believe that the Heat will be right back at the top of the Eastern Conference. There's no reason for me to think that the Heat fall off. Why, in your estimation, Fred, what logic can you give me to suggest that the Heat are going to fall off? Why do the Miami Heat go the other way? I'm not sleeping on Atlanta. And the reason why I'm not sleeping on Atlanta, Dontavius, is because what I've seen from them, I'm still not sure. I'm still not totally on board with the DeJounte Murray, Trae Young backcourt. Now, I know that Murray can play off the ball because he played off the ball in San Antonio. That's the kind of offense that they have. But I don't know if Trae Young can play off the ball. That part I don't know. And he's going to have to, considering that offense, because it's not a traditional offense. It's a lot of ball movement. And DeJounte Murray, even though he does play off the ball, he needs the ball too. So, and we still have a situation in Atlanta, losing Gallo and losing Herter was huge, man. Not only losing Gallo, but losing him to Boston? Yikes. And then losing Herter, you just gave him to Sacramento for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack? I don't know how Atlanta got better. I don't. I don't know how Atlanta got better this last season, this past offseason. I don't know. You think so, Steady? Because I think about P.J. Tucker. I mean, the consummate dirty work guy, I can't fight that and I won't fight that. No, I can't fight that and I won't fight that. The consummate dirty work guy. But he is 37 years old. So how much is P.J. Tucker going to be? How viable is P.J. Tucker going to be? How effective is he going to be at 37 years old? Yeah, he is in Philadelphia. He's not in Miami anymore. How effective is he going to be? I don't know, man. Get to some of these questions that my guys in here have. Do I think Trae makes the All-Star game, even if they're 9th seed? I mean, San Antonio was at the bottom of the West, and DeJounte Murray made the All-Star team. I mean, Darius Garland made the All-Star team, and Cleveland was a play-in team. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a stretch where Cleveland was a top 5 seed. I will tell you that. There was a stretch where Cleveland was a top 5 seed. But to answer your question, I mean, DeJounte Murray made the All-Star team, and San Antonio was at the bottom of they were at the bottom of the West. Mm-hmm. All right. Celtics, Philly. Celtics, Philly, sure. So, and to answer really quick to answer your question, yes, I do think if Dame is healthy, he's a top 10 player in the game. I do believe that. I can't name 10 players better than Dame if he's healthy. I can't. If Dame comes back healthy and he's sharp, I think Dame is a top 10 player in the game. I don't think he's on the outside looking in. I think he's a legit top 10 player between 7 to 10. No doubt about that. I still have a difficult time when I listen to people talk to me about, OG, the 17 Warriors and the 96 Bulls, or the 17 Warriors and the 01 Lakers. So when I think about great teams, right? I think about great teams. I think about sustained greatness. I think about how long were these dudes awesome for? Now, the 17 Warriors were in a different era. We're in the player movement era, right? We're in the player movement era from 2010 to 2019. So these guys jumped around a lot. Guys jumped around a lot from 2000 to 2009 too. But we definitely saw more player movement from 2010 to 2019, more than we've ever seen. So you probably aren't going to see great teams stay together, with the exception of what the Warriors did with Dre, Clay, and Steph. The Celtics are a team that's doing that now because they got their core in the draft, which is why I think the Celtics are going to be good for a long time to come. So when I think about teams like that, that's why the Lakers were as good as they were for as long as they were. Because that group with Shaq, Kobe, Fish, Robert Horry, Rick Fox, that group, they were together for a lot of years. For a lot of years, those guys were together. So because they were together for so long, it would explain why they were so great. Why they ended up, once they started figuring it out, why they were so good. So that 17 Warriors team, they had just got together that year. That 2001 Laker team, they had been together for years. Not only had they been together for years, that continuity that they had developed with each other, I think it would have been really different. If you just think that the Golden State Warriors would just blow those dudes away, I think that I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree with that, no doubt. I don't think that the Lakers blow them out, but I think that the Lakers handled themselves against them. I do. Yes, I do. And when I think about great teams, I still stand on the logic, man, that the best teams that the NBA has ever seen have been built around the big guys. So that Laker team that was built around Shaq, I'm having a difficult time thinking of 5 teams in NBA history better than that 2000-2001 Laker team. I can't name 5 teams better. I can't. And see, that's the thing, Eli, that we have to address. We got to address this, right? Like, what about 3-point shooting? In the scouting report, which a lot of people don't talk about, in your scouting report, we have to give up something. So I am not one of those people who believes that everybody shoots the basketball like Steph Curry. I don't believe that. So because everybody doesn't shoot the basketball like Steph Curry, we're going to have to eat something. Now, we can't just let Klay Thompson crack them all night. Man, I saw Klay Thompson go for 60. I saw Klay Thompson go for 37 and a quarter. So we can't let Klay Thompson crack them all night. And the Golden State Warriors have that kind of offense where they spread you out and they spread you out wide because they can shoot the long ball, right? But with shooting the long ball and forcing those guys into a lot of bad shots, the Lakers like to play fast too. Not only do the Lakers like to play fast, they have a common denominator, which is Shaq. And if you look at the best 3-point shooters in the game, what does he shoot? 45%? 46%? That's the best in the game, right? This is the dude who's shooting the best long ball in the game. Nobody is shooting the long ball better than this dude. So with that being said, if we got a team like the Golden State Warriors that's cracking them from 3 all night, and we're contesting them, and we're able to force them into bad shots, I'll take Steph Curry going 5 for 16 on the long ball. I'll take Kevin Durant going 4 for 11 on the long ball. I'll take that. If I'll eat that production more than I'll eat Shaq going 12 for 16. Rim running. You can't eat that. You can't eat Shaq going 13 for 18. You can't. You can't eat Kobe Bryant going 11 for 24. You can't eat that. You'd have a very difficult time, and having Derek Fisher, who can also shoot the long ball and defend at a good rate. You'd have a very difficult time handling them when he's doing that. Because all Shaq would do, you wouldn't have to put Shaq in the post and slow the game down and throw it to him. If we could play fast like you guys, and all Shaq would have to do is rim run. And if he's rim running, I'm having a difficult time with the Golden State Warriors being able to just eat Shaq going 13 for 17. You wouldn't be able to do that. Not against him, you wouldn't. Not against him, you wouldn't. And the interesting thing you mentioned, Troy, about Shaq would have to dominate. Well, you saying that like that's a difficult thing. What is Shaq? What do people consider Shaq to this day? He's the most what? So I'm clear. What do people consider Shaq to this day? He's the most what? So I don't think that would be difficult. I don't think that would be difficult for him to dominate. Would he go 5'6"? Would he get torched? Because, I mean, who's... All right, Steph's shooting the long ball. Clay is shooting the long ball. Dre in 17 is shooting the long ball. KD is shooting the long ball. KD is shooting the long ball. So who is Shaq gonna have to deal with? Looney? Who is he gonna have to deal with? And they would get rotated. So when they come in with the death squad 5, which is Steph, Clay, Dre, Iggy, and Livingston, okay, we'll rotate Shaq and we'll go Derek Fisher, Bryant, Rick Fox, Robert Horry. There you have it. And I don't think that stopping these dudes. Because here's the thing that I'm trying to understand from you, Henry. Do you think that like KD's going for 30, Steph's going for 30, Clay is going for 30? You think they just going to torch the Lakers? Do you think that that's the case? Do you honestly think that that's the case, that they just getting torched by these dudes? And that's just going to be the end of it? I mean, I saw the job that Rick Fox did on Stojakovic in the Western Conference semifinals in 2001. He did a great job on Stojakovic, was one of the better long ball shooters in the game. He did a great job in chasing him off the long ball line. A great job. Now, KD is a different animal at 6'10", no doubt, but I think that he could make it difficult on him. 30 each game. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Yeah, so I do have a difficult time with that Kevin Durant. I'm not Kevin Durant. I have a difficult time with that, 17 Warriors, 01 Lakers, 96 Bulls, and things like that. So yeah, I think that 2000-2001 Laker team is one of the 5 best teams that I've ever seen. It's hands down the best team Shaq ever played on. I stand on that logic. It's the best team Shaq and Kobe ever played on. And they played on that 2000 team. They played on that 2002 team. I think that 2001 team, that's the best team that they ever played on. I stand on that. No doubt. No doubt about it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see this season how these guys turn out. No, Adam, I'm not giving the 95 Magic no love. They got smoked in the finals. They got smoked. Adam, I stand on this logic. I've stood on it from the beginning of my time of watching basketball. When you get swept out of the playoffs, you are not close to winning it. I don't care where you lose, whether you lose in round 1 or you lose in the finals. When you get smoked, you are not close to winning it. You're not close. And for that 95 team to get smoked like they did, they weren't close. Not only were they not close, what happened the next year when they played the Bulls, when they went backwards, by the way, they didn't get back to the finals. They ran into the Bulls. And what happened the next year? They get smoked again. Smoked. No, the 2002 Nets wasn't close. No, they weren't. They were not close. How do I know that? The Lakers beat them in 4 games. That's the same San Antonio team that the Lakers handled that year. San Antonio comes back the next year and beats the Lakers and then handles them in 6 games. Nah. Nope. Who's a player that you have seen in all your years as a basketball fan that you said to yourself, "Man, we'll never see another guy like this ever again"? James. James is the guy who comes. James is the guy who I think about off the top of my head. But Shaq, James, Jordan, Neek, Bird, those are guys that I think about off the top of my head. I like that, Dontavius. I'm moving that 2001 Laker team. I'm moving them ahead of that 87 Laker team, though. And I'm moving them ahead of that 86 Boston team, too. Even though that 86 Boston team was incredible, I'm moving that 2001 Laker team ahead of that Boston team. Definitely moving them ahead of that 87 Laker team, though. Definitely. I don't think I'm going to be allowed to see the next Tim Duncan. I don't think so. I think I'm on your page with that, Adam. I do not think I'm going to be allowed to see Tim Duncan again. I don't. Somebody who was that fundamentally sound on both sides of the basketball, who was that good fundamentally on both sides of the basketball at that size, because Jordan was that good on both sides of the basketball, but he wasn't a 7-footer. So a guy who was that good and that fundamentally sound on both sides of the basketball, I don't think I'm going to see that again. I doubt it. Who's my top 5 biggest trash talkers in the NBA? Today or all time? Top 5 biggest trash talkers. Jordan, Bird, Gary Payton, Draymond Green, Jordan, Payton, Bird, Draymond Green, maybe KG. Yeah, maybe KG. Yeah, maybe KG. Jordan, Bird, Gary Payton, Draymond Green. Because in order to talk trash, you gotta be able to back it up. You can't just be out here yapping, because you're a clown if you just yapping and there's nothing going on. So all of those dudes in their day could back it up. All of them could back it up. So when I think about trash talkers, Jordan could back it up. I had Bird at the top of the list because Doc punched him in the face. I still have not gotten a satisfactory answer on what he said to Doc to make Doc punch him in the face. I'm still blown away by that, yo. I'm still, I mean, Doc is the classiest guy you will ever meet, man. There is no guy classier than Doc. What did he say to Doc to make Doc punch him in the face? Damn. That's why that's at the top of the list for me. At the top of the list for me. He's at the top of the list for me. Reggie Miller was one of the better trash talkers in the game. Sure. I can get with that logic, no doubt. I think KG is a top 10 defender all time. I do believe that. Yep. I think he is. Yeah, me and OG, we was dope. I enjoyed that. KG or Giannis all time? KG. I don't think Giannis is a top 20 player yet. I think Giannis is a top 20 talent. I don't think he's done enough yet. Nope. Giannis just got nice over the last 4 years. Giannis has not had sustained greatness. Yeah, he won the championship last season, not this season that just passed, but the season before that. But I'm 100% confident 2 years ago, we're in 2022, at the end of the 2020 season, you weren't asking me if KG or if Giannis was better than KG. No. So for him to win the NBA championship means to me that he had to at least been close to that. And I don't think he was. To being a top 20 player? No. Top 20 talent? Yes. Absolutely. No question about that. He still has a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So it's about that time for me. So it was good to see you guys tonight. I'll be back on again soon. I'll have some more topics for you when we meet again. I don't know if I gave you enough heat tonight, but I'll try harder next time. I'll see if I can give you some better topics when I see you dudes again. But until then, take it light, but take it.